Building relationships and helping others is what we do best. We are here to help you build on those strengths like never before. To meet people where they are, just like we've been doing since the beginning. Welcome to the evolution of entrepreneurship. Welcome to Amway Creators.
We give opportunity with products that fit everybody.
I decided I should go for something where I can promote healthy living.
I want to work and be with my family.
I want to have my own life, my own schedule.
Amway is the best thing I've ever done in my life. I'm an ABO.
Amway business.
Amway business.
I'm the business owner.
Amway complements my lifestyle.
I just share my experiences with my products.
I use all products from Amway.
My favorite Amway product is Nutrilite All Plant Protein.
Artistry, skincare.
I'm a fitness boy, so I love protein.
Everybody wants to find supplements. Everybody thinking about healthy.
I like to be a part of fitness and health community.
Our Amway team is like a family.
We have different with my team. It's cooking, yoga class.
Sports activities.
Group meetings on parks.
I learn a lot and I share my own experience.
And the best thing about working with Amway is the freedom.
Freedom of life, freedom from boss.
I work anywhere that I want.
We can work everywhere we want to work and how we want to work.
My location for work, it's right here in my telephone.
Our goals and dreams are very clear.
I want my children to look at me as their idol.
It's about how to achieve goals, how to stay motivated, how to dream.
To us, it's not like work. It's like having a good time.
Imagine a world where plants have fingerprints, and where a group of scientists have fingerprinted over 1,300 of the world's botanicals to discover their health benefits. And every seed is given a unique birth certificate to track its life from seed to supplement. Imagine a group of scientists who search the globe for the best farms on every continent, except Antarctica. Imagine a farm where nature is used to help nature, and where natural pest control is the job of falcons, like copper. And where farmers understand their plants so well that they know the precise moment to harvest to optimize their nutrients. Imagine a supplement company that uses every part of every plant, extracting essential phytonutrients for your benefit, and using the rest of the plant to revitalize the soil on its farms. Imagine a team of engineers so obsessed with product ads that they run more than 500,000 quality checks a year on their supplements. Or a team of packaging engineers who run more than 30,000 tests in extreme condition to ensure that your supplements will remain pure, safe, and effective from our door to yours. Imagine a life colored with the power of phytonutrients, nurtured every step of the way. Because at Nutrilite, we believe to get truly traceable supplements, you need to go behind the label. These are the real people that bring to life what you don't have to imagine. This is the real world of Nutrilite traceability.
It's time to go pro. It's time to become a professional consumer. What's a professional consumer? Well, a professional is someone who earns money doing what others do for fun. Most people are consumers who just buy the things they buy day in and day out and hope they have some left over at the end of the month. But others have decided to go pro and think outside the box. A pro. It's time to go pro. It's time to become a professional consumer. What's a professional consumer? Well, a professional is someone who earns money doing what others do for fun. Most people are consumers who just buy the things they buy day in and day out and hope there's some left over at the end of the month. But others have decided to go pro and think outside the box. A pro understands the powerful concept of revenue sharing. Revenue sharing is getting paid if someone buys products from companies you recommend. And it's changing the lives of families across America by creating income that can supplement or replace a job and even build a substantial retirement. Speaking of retirement, the traditional retirement option of setting aside an extra $500 or more per month to invest sounds great on paper, but it isn't working for the masses because they don't have it, or emergencies happen that take it away. So more and more people are realizing it's time to go pro. Here's why. Traditionally, companies pay millions and millions of dollars up front to advertise on TV, radio, newspaper, and the internet, not to mention the multi-million-dollar endorsements by celebrities and pro athletes. It's a very risky investment and very expensive. The pro consumer understands that companies love revenue sharing because they pay after the purchase instead of beforehand, a much safer method. And that money now goes to families instead of millionaire celebrities. Going pro doesn't mean selling, delivering, or inventorying any products. Going pro simply means shop and refer. Here's the bottom line. Going pro is a choice to receive higher quality products and the opportunity to create retirement-like income in just 1 to 2 years, simply by referring 4 to 5 other consumers who also want to go pro. And now they may even have that extra money to invest in the traditional retirement option too. For just $25 per month, you can become a prosumer member and receive your own version of the prosumer website with its powerful videos, all to help other consumers go pro like you. Prosumer uses revenue sharing to build its membership and grow the pro consumer movement. That way, you earn as you learn and share the prosumer option. It's truly a win-win opportunity for all who participate. It's all about people empowering people. It's time to go pro.
Prosumer. How come we started early?
Dear future generation, you see everything with a fresh pair of eyes. You are eager to learn and fearless to try. From your first taste of solids to your first jump, the world is your oyster and nothing can stop you. There's a big world out there, and I want to keep you safe before I let you soar. I hope you understand why I pay extra care when it comes to you and the food you eat. After all, we are what we eat. Dear future generation, I hope you realize the risks in food safety and the importance of knowing where your foods come from. From farm to table, traceability is important and necessary. That is why I choose only the best for you from the ingredients we use, the supplements we take. They are the best of nature and science combined. Dear future generation, our personal health and the health of our families depend on the purity and safety of the products we buy. And so, I hope you make smart choices for your family when the time comes. Just like how I did for you. Love, Mom and Dad.
Organic farming is definitely the hardest form of agriculture. I love people, I love organic, and I love to work hard, which are kind of all the things that you really get in organic farming. Nutrilite's farming practices incorporate a farming system where we don't use pesticides or herbicides or any synthetic chemicals on the farm. We consider the farm a living organism, so everything that we do to the farm matters. Depending on what crop you're growing is going to depend on where you want to locate that crop. We have farms in Brazil, El Pedical, Mexico, and also 2 different farms in Washington State. They're placed in these different locations because we have different topography and different climates that allow us to grow best plants for Nutrilite. We get to be involved in each process of growing the plant, harvesting the plant, and eventually sending the plant off for a final processing. We document every step of the process. We call it the birth certificate of the plant. We're using technologies that not a lot of other organic farms are using, such as gene technology and advanced tractor technologies in order to get cultivation closer to the plant to allow us to reduce the amount of hand weeding. We're working with all natural products. We're living a healthy lifestyle, and we're also creating a sustainable future.
The story of vitamin C starts from the 18th century, when sailors would suffer from scurvy as a result of vitamin C deficiency. In 1956, in Hawaii, Carl Renborg, a pioneer in nutrition, started studying the acerola cherry, one of the richest known natural sources of vitamin C. Nutrilite vitamin C is produced under the highest standards consistent with Nutrilite's seed-to-supplement philosophy. Nutrilite vitamin C originates from the seedlings of 5 carefully selected varieties of acerola cherries. Only after growing for a year and a half in the nursery, and then another 2 years in the orchard, will the trees begin to bear fruit. Harvesting takes place when the fruit is green before it fully ripens. That is when vitamin C content is highest. The harvest is transferred to our concentration facilities located right on the farm. The cherries are washed, extracted, and dried, minimizing the loss of vitamin C and phytonutrients using gentle techniques like reverse osmosis. After these processes, Nutrilite vitamin C is completed with a mixture of 2 sources, natural acerola and purified ascorbic acid. This is to deliver the amount found to be beneficial. With seed-to-supplement traceability, we track and monitor the entire process from nursery to orchard to concentration, drying through to finished product. The tablet from Nutrilite Vitamin C releases vitamin C slowly and steadily for 8 hours, which improves nutrient utilization. To make the best vitamin C, we make it ourselves. Nutrilite Vitamin C.
Hello, hello. Okay. Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our Home Global Link. So I'm your host for tonight. My name is Bella. First of all, I would like to thank you, our founders Diamond, Evan Tan and Jeanette, to have provide this platform for us, everyone, so that we can learn and grow together in this platform. And of course, I will also thank you, my outline mentor, Tony and Casey, for have guiding me along into this business. So let me share the promotion of the month first. So can everyone see my screen? If you can see, please type 111. Thank you. Okay. So let us start from the promotion of Malaysia. So for Malaysia, we have this we call Atomy, the 3 easy payments method with 0% interest. So you can choose from the product that you want. Next is the purchase with purchase. So you can buy this Philips Premium Digital Air Fryer and you can purchase the airtight containers with only 5 ringgit. Next is the spring cartridge. You can purchase with 4 pieces porcelain dinnerware set with only 16 ringgit. And then also be aware of the fake accounts. So please sign up directly as an ABO or IPC. Next is the training. So we have women health, and then the eSpring and the Amway Core Plus. For more information, you can contact the person or your direct upline mentor. Okay, next is the Singapore promotion. So Singapore have the virtual race. The starting period is 1 May and then until 30 June. So the registration period is until 7 June. So you can purchase this package as the kickstart, and then you can choose either you want the power pack or the power duo pack. Next is the artistry promotion. So with every purchase of 180 Singapore dollar spent on artistry products, you can choose to get one of these at special price. Next is the new launch of the vitamin B dual action. And then the trim and fit challenge. It is the weigh-in period is from January until June. The weight out is March until August. So you can invite all your friends, okay, and then to join this challenge. This package, so you can buy this package and enjoy 5% off. So for more information, you can also contact your upline mentor. And then the sponsoring, you will receive a $20 of e-coupon for every new ABO. Minimum to have 3 new ABOs who have signed up between 1 April until 31st August. And then the free 2022 renewal for the new sign-ups in 2021. So you can enjoy also a $10 e-coupon. For Indonesian promotion, so we have Atmosphere Mini, purchase with Crisbo, this vacuum cleaner with only 900,000 rupiah. Next is the artistry, and then it also have Nutrilite and personal care promotion. So for purchase of 1.3 million, you can buy these products for only 128 rupiah plus the lucky draw. So those are the products consist of Nutrilite, artistry, and personal care. Okay, so this is the highlight for tonight. We are very honored to have Kevin Wee with us. So Kevin is graduated from NTU with communication degree and now is a respected entrepreneur. So he runs a sizable distribution business and a training company dedicated to resilience and mental wellness among the youth. And he's also established speaker, has spoken in over 100 schools and organizations. So his credits life-changing mentorship for helping his overcome and redefine success on his own terms to affect change in his areas. He is also through speaking, training, and entrepreneurship, his vision to ignite the human spirit to love and overcome and pay it forward by mentoring the next generation of entrepreneurs and change makers. So let us type 888 to welcome Kevin.
Thank you, Sarah. I really appreciate your sincerity and your voice, in bringing me up. Yeah, so thank you all so much for actually inviting me today. Thank you, Founders Diamond, Janet, and Edwin. Yeah, hi. I can see you on the screen. Thank you for your nice smiles. I've seen you on stage before when I was really young, 18, 19 years old, when I first started my MBA journey in the big major functions in KL. So it's really nice to be invited just to give back a little bit. And of course, Casey as well. She has been so helpful to my group, so giving, so open-hearted. And I thank her for giving me this opportunity to come here and just share with all of you. Okay, so okay, I don't like to use the word presentation because I prefer to have a conversation actually. Yeah, so it's just gonna be a conversation with me and you. I'm just gonna share my story and some of the lessons I learned, the struggles I faced, and how Amway has changed my life in a way. How my mentors Amway has truly changed my life, and what that maybe get some inspiration for you as well in your own business. Okay, yeah. So let me just share my screen. Okay, yeah, so a brief introduction. I think Bella really nicely, I think we have a multinational audience today. So from Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore as well. Yeah, so yeah, I'll do my best to relate to everybody. Yeah, so brief introduction. I'm actually just graduated recently, a couple of years back, and just achieved my platinumship, going to Founders Platinumship soon. I think next 2 months I'll qualify. And I also run a training company. So I have a huge passion for youth. I go to schools, I talk to them. It gives me a lot of happiness to do that. Okay. Yeah. Just tell them about. Yeah, I mean, schools, a lot of them are very sad. And I think education has been very sad. I think Amway really taught me the true value of education, what it means. And not just formal education. Later, maybe I'll share a bit on that. Yeah, but today's the focus is not on me. I don't want the focus to be on me. I love the focus to be on all of you. I think all of you have your own reasons why you're here today. I don't take it lightly. Maybe your parents are wanting to provide some additional income for your kids, right? Maybe you're a working professional. You want just some additional income so you can have the dream of leaving your work one day, being financially independent, traveling the world, right? So whatever your dreams are, everyone is unique. I'm just here to share some things that maybe can help you in your own journey. Okay, and then at the end, maybe we do a short Q&A. Okay, I just want to check check my time. Okay, I have until about 9:45, correct? Okay, I will finish earlier so that there'll be time for Q&A. Can now I talk. Everybody get bored. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to talk about grace, gratitude, and greed. So these are the three things that I will more or less cover in my own journey. Grace refers to how kind my uplines was to me. Gratitude, obviously, you know. And greed is a bit like resilience. It's a bit like, perseverance. How do you persevere through the struggles, and what helped me to persevere? Okay, great. If you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up. Just wave. Thank you, switch on your screen. Thank you, Casey. Ang, thank you. I see you. Okay, the rest, I can acknowledge you on this. Stanley, Martha, Yusuf. Okay, Kelvin's there as well. Kelvin, I think he's probably somewhere doing retailing. Always see him around. Okay, so maybe I'll just start off with my journey. When I was 14 years old, I was very ambitious, very student, young. Always did well in my studies and everything. And when I was 14 years old, my brother was around 12 years old at that time, right? And then he had a friend who always came to my home. right? He was very happy, very laughing. He's the guy that always smile, like, people that come and then they make the environment better. Yeah, so that was like my brother's friend. So a couple of months before the PSLE, I actually saw him huddled in a corner, okay, in a crouch position like this. Okay, so you can see on the screen, this is the position that he was in. Just ignore the right side, right? Animated it wrongly. So this was the position he was in the corner of a toilet, and he was on his phone. Yeah, he was shaking, and I looked at him. Right? He's a complete difference to what I remember him to be. His face was just complete fear. He was shaking. This is what he said. I'll never forget what he said. He said, please, I did my life is over. And I looked at him, I asked myself, why should a 12-year-old I looked at him and asked myself, why should a 12-year-old kid feel that his whole life ahead of him is over just because of a few letters on a piece of paper? Okay. Am I lagging a little bit? Can you still hear me? I'm lagging a little bit, is it? Okay, just give me a minute. Where did I stop? Is it better now? Let me just close all my apps. Pardon me for this. Okay, better now? Okay. So I think I stopped about my I was looking at the kid, right, on the ground. He said, my life is over. And I looked at him and said, why should a 12-year-old kid feel that his whole life ahead of him is over just because of a few letters on a piece of paper? Right? Just because of the alphabet, he said, my life is over. So I remember feeling very sad at that point of time. I think that was the first time I really felt something. I felt like something was wrong about the education system, or just about what we teach kids to value. But the funny thing is, right, Singapore, very stressed. I grew up also, I'm very stressed, typical competitive, achievement-oriented. Now I can't turn my camera, but you'll see my room has a lot of random medals last time when I collected. I was a tennis player. I also played badminton growing up, and I eventually represented Singapore in national in tennis. Okay, so basically I went to a good junior college after that. For those of you in Singapore, you might know Raffles Junior College, RIJC. Now they call it RIJC. So I went there. That was me at the back. Hopefully I don't look too different. This was about 10 years ago. Yeah. So that was me at the back. And I never really tucked in my shirt. I never wore my badge. I always tried to be different. Since young, I've always wanted to be different. I don't know why. I just didn't like to follow rules. But the funny thing is that even though I was like that, deep down inside, I still believed that grades were the only way to make it in life. So I studied very hard. I remember 14 hours a day I studied. 12 o'clock, 10 o'clock I wake up. Until 12 o'clock I study. This is before A levels. Okay, so A levels, right, is a major exam in Singapore where you take A levels and then you go to university. So everyone's telling you, you need to do well your A levels. So I think that led to a lot of pressure. Fortunately or unfortunately, at that point of time, I actually faced some anxiety. Yeah, I faced some anxiety. And for the first time in my life, I've never failed an exam in my life, but for the first time in my life, I felt anxiety. I felt like I couldn't focus. And I started to have trouble with my mental health. So what happened was that eventually, during the major exam, I actually handed up blank papers from my math. So it's a 6 hour in total. So paper 1 is 3 hours, paper 2 is 3 hours. Both papers are handed up blank papers. So I just copy down the question, I just submit. Because I just cannot, my mind is just completely blocked. And even though I know that I practiced this so many times, right, I just cannot. The oxygen is not going to my brain. And you try and imagine being in my shoes, right? I mean, now grades mean nothing to me, but back then grades was everything. And maybe some of you have kids and they're even stressed out by their friends around them. And last time grades were everything to me. My whole future, inverted commas, was dependent on the exam. Or at least that's what I believe. So because of that, I really crumbled. Yeah, my whole identity just crumbled. Because that was what I had, and it was very traumatic because for my family and even for myself, I scraped through the rest of my levels. But after that was really a time of challenge, where I actually went to this state called. After that I went into depression for a period of time. I think some of you might know what depression is when you cannot control your mind anymore. Certain chemicals in my brain just got stuck. And I remember almost 24/7. So I was just think very, I don't want to be so because it's very gruesome but basically thoughts about my life, about me dying, and just very, very horrible thoughts. So I couldn't control. It was and eventually I had to be hospitalized for a while. So I remember going to IMH. IMH is a hospital for mental health in Singapore. So I went to IMH. I remember the stigma is the self-judgment that I have. So good. I never thought in my life I would actually step into in Singapore we have this stigma, describe mental health or mental problem hospital. This time is Woodbridge. Now they change it, they don't say it anymore, but I had feeling that something is wrong with me, and it was very bad. Obviously my parents were also very devastated. So I went in there. I remember the doctor looked at me and said, there's nothing wrong with you. Then he gave me some medicine. Right, I took the medicine, I went back home. It didn't work. So the thoughts were still there. And eventually I came to a point where I was thinking of myself being hanged, thinking of myself being very, very dark thoughts. Then I realized, okay, I really cannot. So eventually my parents brought me to a private hospital, and I got hospitalized there for a few days. They gave me some injection, they gave me something to put me to sleep for a while. And I remember I woke up in a day or so, and my mind was a bit clearer. And I remember sitting down in the robe. I think by then I lost about 3 to 5 kg already. I sit there in the robe, right? And right, Kevin, your life will never be the same again. I remember thinking to myself, right, you're just so pathetic. That was the lowest point in my life. That moment sitting down in the hospital bed was actually the lowest point in my life, where I genuinely thought that my life would not be worth much anymore. And I really felt that there was nothing else that could really help me. I was stuck in this forever. So it was very, 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 very painful at that point of time. But, to cut a long short, right, I mean, the next couple of months to a year was very difficult, but I was very fortunate that I had very close parents, 1 or 2 good friends, and somehow I did manage to eventually come out of it. I was very, very fortunate. That one's a different story by itself, but I was just very, very thankful. And interestingly enough, I want to give gratitude also, because during my life, 18 years old, was when I first met my mentors. Very interesting. So during this time when I just kind of came out of depression, haven't really come out. I was still somewhere in between. And then my primary school friend gave me a call. And she gave me a call. She said, Kevin, I have have opportunity. Right. I know someone's running a business. He's looking for sharp, ambitious people. I thought you might be interested. And then I thought to myself, wow, I'm sharp. I'm ambitious. But actually, she said it to everybody. But anyway, I said, okay, I'm going to go. So I went there. And eventually I got introduced to Amway. So I remember the first time I saw the business plan, it was very different. I didn't even comb my hair. I didn't wear proper clothes. I went there, I sit down, and I did a lot of weird things because at that time my mind wasn't completely okay. So I did a lot of weird things, and my uplines could have easily said, hey, usually, maybe this person can, but somehow or rather they actually saw the potential in me. This is Hongming, this is William, my uplines. Somehow they saw the potential in me. They thought I'll share a bit more about Hong and what William did for me, but I think wow, I'm getting goosebumps. I'm getting emotional talking about this, because really, I wonder if I didn't meet them, what would happen in my life. I met them at a very vulnerable point in my life, and they took me in like a son. And they scolded me, especially William, you don't know his personality. He was very tough on me initially, but once he knew my condition, he was more understanding. So eventually, they guided me. Okay, they guided me, and slowly I overcome lah. Slowly, and the team was actually slowly, somehow or rather, I came out of that period in life, and I started to rebuild my life. Oh, I remember this. I need to tell you this. So I remember the first time I come in see the plan, right? I remember, because I'm getting so excited now. The first time I saw the plan, it was a hotel. It's a hotel, and then William was speaking. So William was speaking, and I remember he was so passionate. And you know him is, I think that point he was really in his 50s, I think. But he was so passionate and just so much energy in him, And he said things like, you can design your life, live by default. Right? You can live by design or live by default, right? You can define your own success. And for the first time in my life, right, I felt for the first time in my life, somebody really understood me. For the first time in my life, I was finding a way out. At that point in time, I was really finding a way out because the traditional path for me didn't work out, right? So when I first listened to him, I was so energized. I was so excited. I said, finally, I have an opportunity where I can, chart a new path for myself. And I went up to him, I shook his hand, I said, thank you, William. You say things that no one in my life has said before. And maybe your uplines are like that for you as well, right? Just the way they are as people, the dreams that they give you. This is what Amway is about, right? It's about people, dreamers, giving hope to the other people. And so they gave me hope. And I was an 18-year-old kid, just coming out of my struggle. They gave me hope. And from then on, I started to build, this was Louis and Kyling and curling my uplines. Back then they were very young. I think Louis must be in early 20s in this picture, and they also set an example for me as a young person. They set an example for me, and I was very inspired that, they could do it. I thought I could also do it as well. Okay, this was me when I first started out. Okay, you can see I never really combed my hair. Very shy also on the stage. You can see the picture of me in the bottom right. I wore jeans, tennis shoes. I didn't even dress properly like a business owner. So I got no experience in business whatsoever, So everything I learned from the system. And yeah, eventually, I know this is a very short version. Eventually, after a couple of years, this is Jingwen. Now she's married to Louis, as you know. This is Jingwen. Okay, and then Jingwen and Louis. This is when they're still dating. I remember in Hong Kong, we went, and it was me at the back. They're cheerleader. So eventually, now they're married. I'm attending their wedding very soon. Going to be one of the right-hand people. Yeah, okay. This was me, random photos. This was me doing demos, selling eSpring, doing soap. When I first started out as well, a lot of people were questioning what I was doing because my friends all mostly became doctors, lawyers, very prestigious professions, right? So when they saw me, when they knew that I was selling soap, they thought that I lost it really. They thought that I didn't know what I was doing. They thought that I had basically, inverted commas, failed lah. And I didn't care. I didn't care because I knew what they didn't know. And I saw people in an opportunity like Casey as well early on. She's successful in a corporate career. She decided to build this. I said there must be something that these people see, that I haven't discovered yet. And so I just started doing the work. Right? I showed the plan. I did demos. I put away my ego. And along the way, I just grew to love it. Products are great. Products are absolutely good. I think you'll know. But to me, sales to me is not just taking advantage of somebody, it's giving an advantage to somebody. Right? Sales is not about taking, it's about giving. Yes, in a way you also take, but before that you have to give. And the word sales actually comes from the word sellen, which means to give. So people have this misconception about sales, and when I started out, I grew to love it because it's all about people, right? It's all about empathy. Okay, if you don't understand this part, just let me know. Okay, I'm just use some words. People say can introverts actually do sales, correct? They say that, but actually, empathy is more important than eloquence. I realized that along the way in doing sales, empathy is more important than eloquence. Eloquence means you can speak very well. Okay, sometimes you speak very well, you talk very fast and everything, but you don't understand the person's needs or you don't connect with somebody, then the person's not gonna buy from you. They're just gonna think that you talk a lot. So I realized that, wow, being an introvert could be also an advantage because I know how to listen to people and everything. So yeah, I grew to love it, and eventually I got my silver ship done. This is the silver recognition. Eventually I built a team, and yeah, got my platinum ship done last year. It took a while. I guess I could have done it faster, but I have no regrets. I'm grateful. And yeah, I'm very grateful that eventually after a couple of years, I managed to get my platinum ship done and have a team that I love, have a team that is passionate, that is always gives me meaning in my life. Yeah, so that's something that I truly treasure and I have a lot of gratitude for. And without my mentors, and I'm not sure where I would be in my life. And also, I think just sharing with you as well, one point that maybe it will be useful to you is to define your own success. It's basically what William told me when I was 18 years old. I said this word has kept me, this word has been with me ever since. Even now I go to schools, I use it a lot because the reason why we get distracted or we are not clear or we get affected by negativity is because we haven't sat down and defined what success meant to you. We always take on other people's definition of success and we put it on ourselves. We're always trying to live somebody else's life. And the moment we do that, right, we will definitely be unhappy because you're trying very hard to be somebody else. Right? You're like a puppet, you know puppet, right? Those shows they have puppet. Then they put the strings on the puppet and then they control the puppet. You are like a puppet being controlled by other people's definition of success. Right? Whether that is your boss, whether it's, I don't know, society. So I said the moment I decide I'm going to define my own success, this is how I want success to look like, everything else became noise. Yeah. Inside me became very quiet, very focused. I say that I know where I'm heading towards. And I have faith that I'll get there. So this is one thing that you can think about, right? And one thing that they taught me to do to define my own success. Okay, let me see where is it. Okay, somewhere in there. So I can show you, but this is a dream book that maybe it's somewhere. Let's see. So this is a dream book that my mentors told me to write when I was again very young, in my early 20s. I can't find it, but it's okay. You can look at the screen. So this is a small little book that I have. Inside that book, right, I write down all my dreams. Now I wrote this when I was around 20 years old, 2021. So I wrote there to start a social enterprise, start dealing with education to youth by 27 years old. But I wrote there to speak to 1,000 audience, to fight for what is right, to give a voice to people. And I wrote a lot of things inside. Okay, many things. And at the same time, my bucket list, my 25, I also wrote down all these things. Speak to youth in 100 schools. Donate $10,000 to Worthy Cause, save a life, dive with sharks, inspire people to overcome their mental health challenges, right? Run never stop being authentic, take a homeless person out for a meal. And I tell you something funny. I kept this in my cupboard somewhere, and recently I took it out. I think a year or so ago I took it out. I'm 27 currently, so I took it out probably a year or so. And I looked at it, right? The tears actually flowed out from my eyes, because I realized that, wow, I even forgot that I wrote all these things, but actually more than 80% of them came true. And I was so grateful. I'm even now I'm getting emotional talking about it, because from the person that was sitting down on a hospital bed, right, thinking that my life would never be the same again, being able to speak, to even have a conversation with somebody, I was really very grateful. But to be able to speak to 1,000 people, to go to schools, to do talks, eventually I got very happy. And you look at the things over here, I actually did a lot of these things. One of the most meaningful ones was, you wrote on there, save a life, right? And recently somebody dropped me a DM on Instagram. on Instagram. It was actually a young girl, right? I think in 13 or 14 years old. And then she texted me. She said, "Kevin, I remember you from a few years before. The things that you told me." And she said that she faced certain challenges, severe challenges in her life, and she said that she had suicidal thoughts, and she wanted to take her life. And she said that she said one line. She said, "But because I listened to your podcast, because I have my own content on YouTube and everything, right?" So she said she listened to my podcast and she decided not to do it. Oh, I tell you, no amount of money, no amount of anything, right, can actually come close to that. Yeah, and it just made me realize that all the struggle, everything was worth it. Now you can see over there, I wrote it down as well. This was when I wrote it down when I was 21. I didn't know that this is like 6-7 years later, right? But yeah, I mean, my point I'm trying to tell you is this, is that try to write your dreams down because they're free, right? And I think you've heard this many times already. Everything around you is created twice, right? First in your mind and then in reality, right? You look at this screen, your computer, your shirt, everything is created by a person's dreams, right? It's created by somebody's dreams, and then you come into reality. So people say, don't dream, right? Come back to reality. But the reality is your dreams are created by your reality is created by people's dreams. So it's a bit weird, right? To say that. So yeah, definitely dreams keep us going forward. And of course, with that, I started speaking in schools when I was 21. I went to many schools to speak. Gave me so much joy and happiness. Eventually, I started my own company as well. Speak to youth in schools, do assembly talks. I get some features on the papers once in a while. And yeah, if you want to check out my stuff on YouTube, that's fine. It's called Rebound with Resilience. That's the name of my training company on Instagram or TikTok. Now you also got TikTok, right? So yeah, I'm very glad now I'm in a position where I can give back, I can help people. It gives me a lot of happiness. Yeah. So yeah, I just want to share with you all, just to encourage you a little bit. One event will never ever define your life. Yeah, I just know that one event will never define your whole life. Like I said, I really believe that. Yeah, I really thought that my life would never be the same. I really thought that it's over. But my greatest challenge became the biggest blessing in my life. So whatever you're going through now, I'm not sure about your own situations, but every one of us face challenges, right? We're at different stages in life. The struggle might be different from mine. But we still face our own struggle. I just want to let you know that life is not defined by one event. Life is a series of events, and how you choose to respond to it is what makes your life. Okay. There's a Buddhist parable, the Buddhist story. There are two arrows in life. There are two arrows in life. Okay? The first arrow is being shot by your enemy, inverted commas. Maybe you get a failure. Maybe somebody rejected you. Maybe you lost some money. I'm not sure. So that's the first arrow, right? It hurts. The second arrow is your beliefs and thoughts about the first arrow. Okay, that means what you think. I work so hard. How can this happen to me? Nice with this person. How can this person betray me? So this is the second arrow. The first arrow only happens once. The second arrow happens as many times as you think or repeat in your mind. So most of the problem and most of the damage is actually done in the second arrow, not in the first arrow. The event only happens once. Your beliefs around the event is what causes the problems. Okay? And life, the more you try and control the first arrow, the more difficult it is, because we cannot control the first arrow. And the greatest source of frustration is trying to control things you cannot control. Okay? And the only thing you can control is your actions, your attitude, your effort, okay, and your beliefs. So once you work on that, maybe you listen to books, talk to your upline, when you work on the second arrow, life gets better. And throughout my entire decade, from the time I had depression until now, I was just working on my second arrow. I was just working on my ability to overcome. Okay? Yep, so this is for you. Yeah, Grace. I talked about gratitude already, and I want to thank you, all of you, for putting into the chat. Thank you for all your emoticons. Makes me very happy. Yeah. So thanks for that. Kelvin, Isabella, Ang, Chinta, Patrick. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so Grace, grace. Okay, so what is grace? Maybe you'll type in the chat. What do you think grace is? What do you think it means? What do you think grace means? I'm curious. And from there on, maybe I'll talk a little bit more about, what this means to me and how Amway actually helped me in this. Okay, never mind, it's okay. You can think about it. You can think about what grace is. I'm going to share with you. So, grace is basically not judging somebody. It's basically extending a helping hand to somebody with love and saying that, you know what, I'm not going to judge you for where you are now. I'm going to believe in your potential, right? I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. That's grace. Okay. So what happened is this, when I first started, this is a part of the story I share. So when I first started, when I had depression for a period of time, I eventually, when I overcome, I went into this state called mania. So mania, M-A-N-I-A, is a state where you get very high. It's like you get very energized and you get very, your whole body is like shaking because it's energy. It's like, some of you might heard of bipolar before. I'm not sure whether you heard of it. Okay, it's basically like very high. Okay, where you get very extreme thoughts. So I so extreme, I actually created a video, and inside the video, I did many extreme things. Okay, I'm going to be very open with you. I even started a fire in my room, and I burned my A-level cert. Yeah, I burned my A-level cert because I just wanted to show the world that I'm not defined by my grades. So it was a very extreme thing, obviously. Do I regret it? No, I do not regret it because that's part of my story. But at the same time, at the point of time, it was not a very smart thing to do. Okay, let's put it that way. So when I first did it, when I first did all these crazy things, my reputation obviously was affected. Okay, and these were some of the things that people said to me. This was a confession page. Last time we had this page. So this is my school confession page in the past. And these were people that wrote to say bad things about me. So you can try, you can see if you can. You can maybe enlarge the screen, you can read it. You understand it, it's okay. I messed up my A-levels because of my own problems. And he was just basically saying that, lagging more. It's okay? Okay, he was basically saying that, there's not very nice things. He basically said that I failed. He just said I failed. And so it was very difficult for me. When I first saw it, I was very upset in my life. I was very upset. I was very, it's like the first arrow, right? Somebody shoot an arrow at me. So I was very upset. And then I went to Hong Ming. So I went to Hong Ming. So Hong Ming, my mentor, right? I told him, Hong Ming, I really want to be a speaker. I really want to do this. I really want to help you. I want to be a diamond. I want to be a platinum. He told me, but I said, I'm very scared. I remember sitting down at a coffee shop. I went to a coffee shop. I sit down with him. I said, Hong Ming, I'm very scared. I said, I have a lot of fear in my heart. Because what if people judge me? What if people look at my past and say, oh, this guy cannot make it, crazy, So, Hong Ming, his personality, very calm. He looked at me, he said, Kevin. Okay, he said, this is what he said to me. He said, why are you letting an imagined future rob you of your present joy? Why are you letting an imagined future rob you of your present joy? Which means, why are you letting something that hasn't happened yet take away your happiness in the moment? He said it hasn't even happened yet. Like, you are thinking of the worst case, but it hasn't even happened yet, Kevin. What you need to do is don't worry about it, right? Just focus on building your credibility, focus on what you can control, build up your skills, build up your credibility. One day, when you look back, you will understand why you had to go through it. You will understand that your past, right, is not something that causes judgment. Your past is what gives you credibility. It's because you've gone through those things, right? That's why you can share with passion and conviction. I left that meeting, I tell you, I left that meeting in tears. Okay, because I did not believe him. Okay. Yes, I was encouraged, but at the same time, I did not fully believe what he said. But at the same time, I just did it. I just took small actions. I say, you know what, I'm going to, in faith, I'm going to do it. Okay, so I just took small steps, and eventually, as you all know the story, I eventually started my own company and shared my own story. And I knew that day, right? I remember one day I was sitting down and I started with my podcast. I knew that was the day that Hongming was referring to. And I thought to myself, right? I thought to myself, Hongming said not to predict my future in fear, right? But in faith, he actually predicted mine. Okay, what's faith in Chinese? I'm sorry, my Chinese is not the best. Pardon me for that. Faith. What is faith in Chinese? Someone help me out. I think you all know what faith is, right? You have heard of it before. It's basically believing the best scenario, the best possible outcome. So he said, and I realized this is that fear and faith are very similar. Okay, fear and faith are very similar. You might think it's very different. No, it's very similar. Both fear and faith refers to a belief in the unseen. That means you're believing in something that hasn't happened yet. That is fear. You're believing in something that hasn't happened yet. Faith, you're believing in something that hasn't happened yet. Right? The only difference is how we define what has not happened. In faith, we define the best possible outcome. In fear, we define the worst possible one. I was living in fear for so long, in my condition, and I was still living in fear. But the moment I met my mentors, the moment I got introduced to the system, the moment I started working on myself, I started to live by faith a little bit. I said, hey, maybe there's a better outcome for me. And oftentimes, the one that we choose will become our reality. It's just that how it became my reality. So I hope to encourage you all, okay, to choose fear over faith. If there's something to remember today, right, is choose fear over faith. Choose faith over fear. One thing my brain also. Choose faith over fear. Yeah. These are the people that help me to have faith in myself. Okay. Okay, and the last thing, okay, I finish 5 more minutes, I'm done. And then I can do some Q&A. But 5 minutes, the last thing that I want to share with you is if you feel tired or lost, always remember why you started. That's grit. It's perseverance. Just remember why you started. I say go back to first principles. It's the same as remember why you started. So behind me, you can see on my board, I have a board behind where I write all my first principles here. Over here you can see when feeling lost, go back to first principles. I'll show you on the screen what I wrote down. And this is actually how I define my success. This is what I want to live my life doing. So you can see on the screen on the left hand side. I believe that we are born with nothing and we will eventually die with nothing. Right? And life is not just, success is not just what I have, but also what I gave. Right? When I die, people will not remember, whether I have 10 Bitcoins or not Bitcoin crash. People will not remember whether I get 10 Bitcoins or, how many amount of money, right? Even though that's important. But at the end of the day, when you pass from this earth, people will remember what you gave. People remember the way you make them feel. And in this lifetime, I just want to give hope to people. I just want to use my money. I want to use my voice. I want to use my story to inspire people to live the best lives for themselves. Yep, to be resilient and to love other people. These are the two biggest things in my life: to be resilient and to love and have compassion for other people. So that is my why, okay? And finally, of course, I saved the best for last. I want to guess what it is. So far, I haven't talked about something yet. It's actually my parents. Yes, I love them so much. My mom has been a huge support in my whole life. It's me. And when I graduated, I say, Mom, this is yours. This is your graduation. This is not mine. I say, it's only because of you that this is possible. I have gone to so okay, so really, I love my parents a lot. Without them, I would not be where I am, and I'm glad that I'm in a position where I can give back to them. Yeah. So that makes me happy. This actually is a slide of all the meals. This is just a few meals. So when I was in my early 20s, when I came home late from appointments, from meetings, I would always have a small plate of rice with me when I came back. And it's actually cooked by my parents or left by my parents. And they would do this many times. And every time I took a photo and I saved it in a folder, I say that one day when I'm successful or even a successful, I will show this picture and I'll give gratitude to my parents. This is actually the love that they've given me over the years, and yeah, I'm just very thankful for them. So with that, I think with that I more or less end my sharing today. Grit is about persevering, remembering why you started, your why. Okay, so just remember that. And I just want to say once again, thank you for everybody listening to my story and for your encouragement in the chat. Yeah, the remainder of the time, I'll be glad to answer any questions. Yeah, to just help you all with anything. Anyone would like to ask anything, feel free to type in the chat.
Oh, awesome. Such an inspirational story. So let's type it for Kevin. Thank you for the sharing. So what is beautiful in this business is that we can meet somebody as our, in Mandarin we say that 贵人, right? So that somebody who can really help us when we have difficulties. By the way, am I lagging? Because everybody is, only I'm the one who's moving and everyone is just okay, so sorry. Okay, so thank you very much for Kevin. Hello.
Yeah, we hear you clearly.
Oh, I see. Okay, so next we will have closing from Diamond Jeanette. So I will pass the mic to you, Diamond Jeanette. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bella. Thank you, Kevin. In fact, today I find the sharing is slightly different from most of the sharing that I've been hearing, because this is not only the Enway journey. This is really the internal journey of a teenagers growing to be young adults, and at the same time having such a how I would say wide vision on keep developing yourself and touches other people. I find this is really a very touching sharing. So thanks again, Kevin, for that. Really, I find, a lot of times the outside people, I mean those people that couldn't understand why a lot of us has very special feelings towards Enway. It's not Enway per se. It is the people we meet. It's the environment that we walk in. And at the same time, I think when today Kevin used a very simple language, but able to bring out a very good illustration. Like for instance, the first arrow and the second arrow. I will borrow that, Kevin. that really easy to understand, but at the same time, why I say is very touching is that really a lot of kids and teens, they grow out with their own expectation, and at the same time, even parents don't say anything. They find that they got responsibility to get their let their family feel proud. So people as outstanding as Kevin, that really it comes suddenly to a war that can never be expected. very excellent performance students, are good in athletics as well as good in academics. And this is something that we call life. Like in Malaysia currently is really having a very alarming and very sad and depressed situation. Today when I go to the morning market, the people are saying that Penang Bridge, Penang Bridge is so tempting for those depressed people. And every day, got some young people, some growing parents commit suicide, jump over the bridge. So that's why that when today Kevin shared this these sessions, it also bring in many reflections that I find our life is not just us. They are that's where that I always encourage. If you can, always inviting your friends that like this once a week gathering, bringing them in, calling them to take them their mind off their job, taking their mind off their hectic routine, and coming to experience certain new view or a different view. And at the same time, you never know when is the turning point. So thanks again, Kevin. And at the same time, I would encourage all of us, okay, come forward, share your story, because many of us can had a good reflections, but at the same time, a lot of us will be, had a good rethinking. Like instead of the dream chart, we should have a dream book. and really, those things works. Like I always write something and I put aside. But so happen that when you bring it up, you'll be surprised the power of the dreams. And nothing better than in an environment like the NY platform, that people are empowering us and we are empowering others with hope and passions. Okay, so together, I think we make our world the better place, and at the same time, let us spread more lights and energy. Okay, so I pass it back to Bella. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for the closing from Diamond Jeanette. So before we end our meeting, I will share about our next week program. So next week we will have Putrajaya to share with us about lecithin E, and also we will have Bay to share with us about building a reliable business. So don't miss out our next week meeting, okay? So thank you so much. One more time for Kevin, and then also for our Diamond Jeanette. So see you again next week. Bye everyone.
Okay, bye-bye. Thanks, Kevin.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Bella.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Diamond.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Kevin.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Diamond.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.